internet, good morning LinkedIn, good morning Facebook, good morning YouTube. Coming up on today's show, let's give them a warm welcome. We have the incredible Mr. Chris Boothman from True Broking Limited, and the incredible Jen Tiller from Healer Zone. Morning, Ed.
Morning, Andrew. How are you?
Very well, and you?
Yeah, really well. Really, really well. The sun is shining this morning. Everything is good.
Yes,
the world.
I think are we outside of the storm now? Is life getting good?
I think so. They say it's going to be a nice weekend, which is really, really good. I've got to go pick the boys up from Brighton, which is a perfect day to go down to Brighton and the bank holiday weekend.
It's nice for you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Should be really, really good. Tell you what, the club's getting really busy at present as well. Cobra Club.
Yes, it's all good in the club, isn't it? We've got several new joiners. Should we do a little formal intro to them?
I think we should say hello to them all because well, it's a good thing to say hello to people.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Take it away, Ed.
I'd like to welcome Alex Hampton, who's joined us from RWBHQ. Welcome, Alex.
Fantastic. Then I'd like to welcome Lisette Classics, who's also joined Cobra Insights.
Yeah, Paul Reed has come into Cobra Creative, so welcome, Paul.
Fantastic. Then I'd like to welcome Gail Siddall, who will join the West in Bristol. Okay.
And the one called Nikhil Chowgli, who's joined us from RWBHQ.
Fantastic. Then we have Nick Jin, who's joined CoConnect.
And then we have Steve Witkiewicz, and he has joined Cobra Connect. And I'm not saying it again, I really apologise, Steve, for pronouncing your name wrong, because I'm guaranteed to do that. So good to see you. Welcome on board. The Cobra Club's bouncing along, so it's lots going on over the next couple of weeks as well, Andy.
Absolutely. Got quite a bit going on. I think probably, let's do this with a news flash, a video, and then let's bring out our first guest.
How exciting.
So yes. Get ready for this. Good morning, Chris.
Hello, Chris, mate. How are you?
Morning, guys. Morning, Andrew. Morning, Ed. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Good to see you again. You came on the show, what was it, a couple of months back now?
Yes. Sunday night, though, wasn't it? A lot different time.
Yes. Yeah, we moved the format now to a more sort of sociable time, Wednesday sort of morning. So fantastic. So you come today, Chris, to talk about a couple of things. One that was about your business, but first of all, we're going to concentrate on the Property Connect meeting. And I wonder if you could tell all the viewers out there a little bit about Property Connect and what it's about and who's it for.
Yeah, so Property Connect is something that we put together a few months ago, and this is our third event that we'll be hosting next week. It's an event specifically for people who are in the property sector, so property professionals, and it's there to give. It's not there to sell. It's there to give advice to people and to offer insight into different sectors and different areas where people may struggle. So in the past, we've had talks from a project manager. We had a great talk last month from a contact of mine called Jen Harrison, who talked us through her kind of life in property and how she got into it and how she started her property journey while she was in bed in hospital, suffering, really badly. And this month we've got Muzaffar Khan, who's from a superb architectural firm in Manchester, and he's got a huge wealth of experience on internationally acclaimed construction projects and architectural projects, and he's going to be there giving advice and giving his input on all things architecture, whether it be from residential and commercial, to give people that advice and that help them to understand the kind of pitfalls and the things that they may come across.
I was reading his bio on the Property Connect website. Really impressive, interesting guy.
Yeah, so and then what we do is after the either side of the keynote speakers, so either side of them, what we also have at our breakout rooms, or the more round table though. So each room is hosted by a professional from the Cobra Club. So I'll host a room that's about insurance. No one will come to that. Everyone hates insurance. But there's people.
It's an important thing, though, Chris. We all need insurance.
It is an important thing. But there's people there. Claudine Reynolds will be there, who hosts a room about property investment and about getting funding, because she's a specialist commercial mortgage broker. Ben Thexton, who specialises in accountancy for construction companies. We've also got Beverly, who specialises as a property business coach, who helps people get into that investment and manage that side of it. John Foy, who's a project manager, so he can help everything from the conversion to the construction to whatever it may be. So we've got 6 different people hosting different rooms. And like I say, it's not about us just talking to people for 20 minutes. It's a round table. It's let's talk about the problems you've got, and let's talk about how we as a group, or how me as an individual, can help you guys sort it and look at solutions for you.
Fantastic.
We've got the chat.
Sorry, I was just going to ask a quick question to Chris. If I was looking to get into property, had no idea, I mean, I don't have any idea about property, would this be the sort of event I could go to and pick up contacts and find feet in the trade?
We average about 90 people per event. There's people from all sectors, whether it be from property sources to investors to construction companies to architects. It's a whole range of people that are in that property sector. So what you may do is you may find, if you're looking to get into property and you don't know what areas to look out for, what size of property, whether you're looking at HMO, whether you're looking at already buy-to-let properties that have already got a tenant in, whether you're looking at building something yourself, there is someone there who you'll be able to meet, network with, and get some advice from to help you on that journey through what can be a really simple process and can be a really difficult process as well. So there'll be someone there who can offer some help.
Fantastic. Sounds really exciting, doesn't it, Ed?
It's a great opportunity to network. The amount of people who are saying they made some really great connections has really helped their businesses from last time. It's quite amazing. Really exciting stuff. The chat is alive at present.
Yes, so let's give some shout outs. Give some shout outs, Ed.
Well, we've got Rhea Nancy, who says, "Morning all." John Foy, who says, "Hi, Rhian, how are you?" And then Russell Silverman, who says, "Hi, Rhian and Nick." So I presume LinkedIn user is Nick, but I'm guessing. So they're all chatting away behind the scenes. And Russell Silverman, who's a very good accountant, says he loves insurance.
We all love insurance. Don't let anyone tell you anything different.
I'll get him a T-shirt with Adam.
Yeah, I love insurance. Fantastic. So, what's the date of this event, Chris? And how do we get involved?
It is next Thursday. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. If you need some specific details about it, you can direct message myself or any other people who are on the Property Connect team. So that's Claudine Reynolds, John Foy, Rhiann Astley, Ben Thexton, Beverly Lockett. Or email either one of yourselves at the Cobra Club, and I'm sure you can provide some details and contacts to the Eventbrite page.
I've just put the link to the page in the chat.
Oh, fantastic. Well done, Ed. That's helpful, isn't it?
I think other people have the same idea as well.
So, just on a final sort of recap then, it's a great place to attend if you're looking to get into property or if you're looking to make new connections. And in terms of a takeaway, I understand that there's a delegates list. Isn't there something that goes out at the end?
There is a networking opportunity. There is a delegates list that's issued to everyone at the end of it, which will also have people's sector on. So if you're looking for someone in a specific sector to help you get help your business to grow, help it develop. So if you're looking at buying some properties and converting them, and you need an architect, you need a project manager, you'll be able to find someone from that list, someone who has come to us, someone who we probably know, like, and trust, and work with, who you'll be able to connect with and help you along that journey.
Fantastic.
Russell says, "Can you have the T-shirt in black?" If that's all right.
Extra medium as well. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, extra medium, mate. And John says it's going to be a great event. So if people want to get in touch with you, Chris, I believe somewhere cleverly we'll have your details like this, so people can always send an email to you.
People can email me at chris@truebroking.com. People can call me on 01242 or 1800, or you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all the other kind of social media content.
All over the place.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Chris, in terms of sort of, I've heard about Property Connect now, and you said those words, "I love insurance." So can you tell us a little bit about Chris and True Broking Limited, and what's if you give us a little story about sort of where you've come from and leading up to True Broking Limited. So
True Broking Limited was formed and we started trading in April 2020, so just over 12 months old now. My background is always at a big corporate broker, so some of the multinationals and global leaders in insurance and risk management, and we wanted to offer something on a more personable level, almost like community-based insurance advice, where we feel that we can take that grand corporate entity and that grand experience that we've developed over 25 years of doing commercial insurance and give it to people who need it at the local level. Maybe ones that during the pandemic have not had that kind of same level of advice or support from a local entity that they could have and should have done.
I've got a question for you.
Sure.
If you had, right, here we go. If you had one top tip to give to someone out there listening now about insurance, don't tell me yet, but what would it be?
What would it be?
My top tip would be to engage with an insurance broker that you like and trust. A lot of insurance brokers, there's hundreds, there's thousands, there's 4,500 insurance brokers in the UK. We all deal with the same insurers. So the insurer element of it, that isn't really your choice. The insurance broker element is. And as long as you like and you trust them and they tell you what they're going to do in relation to marketing your business, where they're going, and you like dealing with that person, that's my best advice. Work with someone you like and trust. You do with your accountant, you do with your solicitor. Don't just go for the cheapest option. Go for someone who will give you and represent you the best in the marketplace.
It pays to be covered properly and to buy someone you trust. So it really pays to have a good insurance broker on your side.
And what would be some of the common pitfalls of using someone that wasn't necessarily working out for you?
Some of the common pitfalls that people come across are. I had one the other day. Someone said they wanted public liability insurance. So traditionally, that normally drips into tradesmen's cover, so people who go to your house or to a premises to do some work. Now, this guy was a garden centre, so people came to him, and a tradesman's policy wasn't suitable for him. But I explained that to him, and he's saying, but I want public liability, and online I can get it for £32, and your price is £200. I'm like, but my price covers you correctly. The one you're going to buy online doesn't cover you, and the likelihood is you may not get a response other than the bot that you're speaking to that's talking you through that process. So it's what I said. One of the pitfalls is people end up purchasing cover that isn't suitable for them. We've had it before. What was it? It was a virtual PA. Public liability insurance. Well, they're not going to cause any damage to anyone while they're sat in the kitchen table. They needed professional indemnity cover because it's an error that they could make, which could cause a financial loss to one of their customers that they're working with. So it's just that advice basis, really, that people who, if they don't engage with the broker, don't speak to them, don't tell them how things have changed during the pandemic and how their business has adapted, then there are some of the pitfalls that people can fall into.
I've seen it myself. Before, in the early days, I bought a policy and I didn't really get a lot of great advice at all, and then you end up with a big long thing to read with words that I don't understand, and at that point think I wish I'd spoken to Chris.
Well, that's it. We're there to give advice. We're not just there to sell. But if you feel that you're just being sold to and not being given advice, then speak to someone else.
It's so important.
We've talked a lot about businessy type things, and I don't think we really truly understand the sort of man behind the business. So I just think we should sort of like just ask Chris something slightly different. So Chris, I'm going to play a short VT, and you might not do that. Here we go. I think we'll go for this one. Whoever was on the keyboard there was just enjoying themselves, weren't they? Good to see.
That was the first one I bought.
Was it?
The first record that I bought was it was Michael Jackson Thriller. It was a birthday present. I was taken up by my aunt to Woolworths in Bolton. It was gatefold, double vinyl. But the first actual record that I got given was Elton John, I'm Still Standing, and I saved up some tokens on Weetabix to have it received in the post.
Really, really cool.
Blimey.
Love it. It put me off. I was going to buy Thriller, but then it put me off because he was sort of sat on the front cover looking a bit sort of like suave, and I just thought...
yeah. And he opened it up and he was sat like with a lion, I think he was.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Works with the ladies, but not with Ed.
So just we're coming to the end of the interview now, Chris. But is anything sort of in the insurance world that we need to be aware of? Have things changed in terms of policies with regarding the pandemic? Do we need, if we've had a policy for quite a while, do we need to really sort of go back and look at that now?
I think what you'll find is that obviously during the pandemic there was a big issue in relation to business interruption and whether claims were going to be paid under the business interruption section of policies. What you'll find is that almost all insurers now going forward have put a pandemic, epidemic, COVID-19 and future COVID kind of exclusion into policy wordings. So it has made it very, very clear in relation to what you can and can't claim for going forward. One of the biggest impacts that we're seeing for people in the professional sector and the construction sector is a massive impact on premiums in relation to professional indemnity cover. And what we'd say is engage with your broker early, find out who they're going to, because it's the increase of premium isn't just because of potential claims, it's because of reduction in the market. We've probably had about 10 insurers exit the market, no new entrants come into it. So there's a lot less capacity in the market. So engage with your broker early, speak to them about it, get some advice about what you can do to manage that expectation. So whether it's increasing your deductible and your excess or your pain threshold, to try and keep them premium to something that you find acceptable.
That's really good advice. Really good advice. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for coming on and seeing us.
Thanks for coming on, guys. Good to see you both again. Not seen you for a while.
Yeah, yes. You're hiding.
Always a pleasure. Let's get you back on it again in a couple of months' time. Let's keep this party going.
Definitely.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Fantastic.
Well done,
Okay.
mate.
All right. I will just hit this.
Hello, Jen.
Good morning, Jen.
Always a delight to be in this space. Always.
Always good like to have you. That's what we should say.
Fantastic.
So how's things going with you? Are you doing well?
I've never been busier.
Is that since people are going sort of moving out of their properties and sort of looking out into the wider world now? Is it made a change?
No, the whole last year. I've never been busier.
Fantastic.
Because suddenly the whole world is talking about lungs. Think about it.
Fantastic. So we're going to get into lungs in a second, Jen. But first of all, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your journey and your background and where you've come from and how you've ended up with being the breathing coach that you are.
That's a long story. Yeah, I'll be 60 next month, for God's sake. I've had a lot of time to have journeys. Okay, so I started out with life-threatening asthma from a tiny, tiny child. I wasn't expected to survive childhood, let's put it that way.
Wow.
And so I went through all the medical stuff. I did complementary even really early. My mum actually took me to a naturopath when I was yay high. But nothing really made a difference. I survived. That's as far as I went. But I also grew up with a challenging home life. Let's put it that way. You don't need the details. And I got married very young, which meant I left that environment. I didn't do it consciously because I love my husband, but I was 17. I got married. I had a baby. It's a bit unusual. And moved a long way from home. And was very, very ill for the next 30 years. Next 20. I can't do the math at this hour of the morning. Can't.
A long time.
Decades anyway. But while I was raising my daughter, I was a piano teacher, so I was working from home. I've been self-employed for 42 years, people, so it's just, it works. And I was still always looking for answers, and I finally found, when I was literally at death's door, despite all the meds and a great GP, I found a thing called Buteyko breathing, which is clinically proven. It's a Russian-based thing from Professor Buteyko. And I went from, I think I'm going to die tonight, despite all the help I've got and all the meds, to off my medication and no symptoms in 4 weeks.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Just changed my world.
Yeah, life-changing. I mean, really, literally.
Literally, yeah, life-saving and life-changing. It really was. But I had other things I needed to deal with. So I was also having hypnosis and NLP and energy work and you name it. I tried everything. And everything that worked for me, I trained in. This is back in Australia. I grew up in Sydney and then went to country Australia. That was it. And the journey was, there were so many possibilities at every point. And I was labelled allergic to the 20th century back in the 80s. I was terrified to walk out the door. I ended up agoraphobic because the doctor said if you could smell something, anything, run. And I couldn't run either because I had exercise-induced asthma, people. I wasn't going anywhere. So all of that stuff. When I moved to England in 2000, I decided if I ever heard a child playing Mary Had a Little Lamb again, I would take an axe to the piano. There was no more teaching piano as a way of making a living. I still love to play, still have a piano. But I started training in everything that had worked for me. And because people will come to London to give the best training in the world, I had the best. And I did it for me initially. And then I just went, there are a lot of people out here who don't know this stuff, who I can help. And because I'd always been a teacher, I started to also train medical staff. I trained therapists, I trained physiotherapists, respiratory nurses, that sort of thing. And that is my utter delight, because I can help them have the experience I had. But because I've been doing it now for 21 years, I've embodied the lot and made it easier. There's shortcuts to this process. It doesn't have to be as hard as I found it. And what people don't realize is that if you are wheezing, panicking, coughing, struggling with all the related things to breathing, including long COVID, folks, by the way, hyperventilation is the big thing. So if you're breathing too much for what you're doing, that's a factor that you can change. Anybody can change. Slowing the breathing down, using the right muscles instead of going up north, because what does anybody do when they get a fright, guys? What does anybody do? What's the first thing? Exactly. We breathe up. We get a hit of cortisol and adrenaline and, the whole. But if you've had a lot of struggle in your life, you're probably living there. Thanks, Af. It's one of those things that when you learn the biomechanics of good breathing, and the doctors do support this, they tell their patients that they're not breathing well, they just don't have time to teach them what to do with it. But you can do it slowly and gently, and it's deeply relaxing. And by the way, you don't have to be sick to want to feel better. If anybody says you only go for help when you're desperately ill, like I was, guess what? If you're an athlete and you just want to run faster, better breathing has a massive impact. You can go from silver to gold with this. I occasionally work with top athletes, members of the GB team and stuff, and ballerinas, because movement. If you're like this, what do you reckon your muscles are doing, guys?
Tensing up.
And if you want a greater range of movement and be more, elegant, flexible, whatever it might be, this is only going to get you so far. But here's the opposite of what you expect. If breathe in and hold is tense, breathe out and rest the breath for just a second, means you can move like that. You will free up everything. But it's breathe out through your nose, by the way. Breathe out slowly, rest the breath a moment, and what is waiting for you between the breaths, because we do breathe 20 to 30,000 times a day, guys. You've got a lot of chances to do this. Right. So it's breathe out, rest the breath, and you will find literally peace waiting between every breath you take. And your body will just relax. You'll lose the tension. You get a hit of, instead of cortisol and adrenaline, you get your relaxation hormones, your oxytocin, your serotonin, and your body will just loosen up, free up, and give you back the energy you've been wasting on all that tension.
Wow.
All day, every day.
I feel more relaxed already.
I know. It's basically a reset button for calm. And for people who say, I can't meditate, I can't do that, my brain's doing that, a lot of us have busy brain, I get it. But again, the breathe out, rest the breath takes you back to a state in which both halves of the brain talk to each other quietly. And the busy brain top end just shuts up. You can use it for anything. You are breathing all the time for a good reason. It is the rhythm by which you breathe.
But you've told me before, am I right in saying better quality air, in effect? If you're breathing through your nose and you're using your tummy, if you like, to breathe rather than your chest to breathe, you're clearing out more of the bad stuff in your lungs. Is that right? You're getting better quality air coming in.
If you're breathing through your nose, you're filtering the air, so that's a good start. However, if you're breathing from your belly, you are drawing air lower into the lungs and you're getting better oxygen uptake.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Yep. So well remembered, Ed. And
it's good. I still think about it now. I had 1 half an hour session with you, and I still sit to calm myself down and breathe through my tummy. It's fantastic advice.
Yeah. And as well, you've got the vagus nerve, which there's a lot of core element of the vagus nerve which turns off fight or flight 2, and it turns on the parasympathetic relaxation system. You massage here, you get a soft massage of that, and it sends out all the right messages. And you get better digestion because you're massaging your belly and your digestion is better. So there's no downside. But if you've been hyperventilating, what most people don't realize, especially if they're mouth breathing, if you breathe too fast thinking, I haven't got enough air, I need to breathe more to get more oxygen, you need as much CO2 as oxygen for the pH balance to be right and for you to use the oxygen. If you breathe too fast, like blowing up too many balloons, how many people have had birthday parties and it's just... and you've got plenty of oxygen coming in, but losing the CO2 means you can't use as much of it.
Okay.
And you get dizzy and lightheaded and feeling a bit fat. But if you do a little bit like that all the time, it adds up in a negative way. So low and slow and with the belly brings the body back into balance and harmony. You improve your pH balance and lots of other stuff.
It's amazing how quickly the effect happens as well. Because a lot of people will say they don't have time to do it. Well, actually, it takes 10 seconds, 20 seconds to actually calm yourself down by breathing like that. And then, especially in the world of sales, it's it's really important to be calm and considered when you're dealing with.
Yeah, you need to be able to think properly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? The other very important thing is when you're in business of any kind, you want to be the role model for the people you're working with. You want to be calm and confident and relaxed because that's how you want to show up rather than going, looking a little bit, I'm a bit worried about this. And you help the people you're with to relax too. And they make better decisions based on a calm state. Nobody makes a good decision in a panic state. Nobody. Yeah, and indeed, pain management is a huge issue, Sharon. You're quite right. Because when you are tense, you are increasing your pain level. Probably too much detail, but I had my gallbladder out a couple of years ago. And post-operation, I didn't need pain meds.
It's amazing.
And I'm not saying there wasn't some pain, but because when I moved in the pause after the out breath. I wasn't going... I did it once to test whether I was missing something, but no. Breathe out, rest the breath, move gently in the pause, and you free a whole lot of stuff up, and you do reduce your pain threshold. I mean, reduce pain levels, I should say, increase your threshold, because you want a buffer zone, right?
Yep.
You want a buffer zone between stress and pain and discomfort. Now, remember, I had life-threatening asthma, allergies, constant bronchitis. I was on masses of meds. I haven't had any of that for nearly 20 years. It just changed my world. And as a result, my whole immune system is more tolerant of lots of stuff. It's not perfect. I'm still human. But I don't need to run to a doctor for anything like casual stuff all the time. You know, if I fall off a horse and break a leg, I will definitely go to a doctor. I'm not silly. But I went back to horse riding as well. That's another thing. I had horses from the time I was little, which is, you think about that. For an allergy person, somebody who's around horses and hay, no. But I love horses. So, and I went back to riding. And one of the things I found was I went straight back to the bad habits I'd had when I used to ride before. Because you're rising up and down and you're tightening up here and you think, that's just my habit. Habits, they matter. And I had to rethink my breathing and go, how can I breathe and still support my center and move and find a rhythm that really worked? And guess what it did for the horse I was on? Relaxed the horse. So I had a better connection with the horse. I was doing less work and getting better results just for moving. And that applies to sports people as well. Runners move faster. People, I was working with a gym owner last night. And the idea that picking up weights, the classic deadlift. Yeah. The assumption is you watch people, they'll go, and then they'll lift. If you breathe out using your tummy muscles, so you are supporting your core, and then you lift, you can lift at least 10% and quite often 20% more than you could in a muscle tense mode, because the muscles being shorter, it's harder to lift.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's breathe out as you go down and lift in the pause, and then breathe in from the tummy. You're getting the mini masterclass here, guys.
No, it's really good.
You know, but my big thing these days is I want to help 1 million people breathe better. And I realized I can't do that on my own one-to-one. It does not work. So I'm trying to train as many health professionals as I can consistently. I still work one-to-one with people who need me, but training the health professionals who will just apply this, because every client they see is breathing. And if they're stressed, they're probably breathing badly. Nobody turns up to a therapist if they're happy. It doesn't work that way. So if I can train all of them to include the basics of good breathing into their, their daily habits, it'll just apply to everybody they help.
Can I ask a question, Jen? Obviously,
please.
You talked about sort of habits, and you've been doing this a long time, and I guess for the most of the day, you're tuned in, your body's tuned in, and it knows how to sort of breathe for any sort of situation, I suppose.
Basically, it's just good habits.
And that's moving on to the next question was, so if someone's new to this, I guess they've got to go through that process of always being conscious of how they're breathing. Would someone try and breathe all day long like that, or would they just say, right, for the next, it's that mindset, right, for the next half an hour, I'm going to breathe like this? How does that sort of work?
Okay. If you don't want to go deeply into it, just slowing your breathing down and spending a little bit of time, a few minutes several times a day, will at least reset the idea that it's possible. Like you said, Ed, you breathe out, you rest the breath, you feel calmer, and that's the reset button for helping. But if you really have an issue like asthma or panic attacks or something major, then it's worth having a structured process, and you might do 3 half-hour sessions a day. But it doesn't take long. Remember how quickly mine changed. So when I'm working with clients, I might see them 3 times the first week, twice the second week, and they may never need to see me again. As long as they do something towards building habits, because the body will just get on. Did you know that the desire to breathe in has got almost zero to do with the current oxygen level? It's the CO2 level dropping. Remember, the body needs both. And the trigger for the next breath is when the CO2 builds up to what the body thinks is normal. So if you can just process so it slows down consistently, it will self-maintain good breathing, and you only need to fiddle with it when you try something new, like when I got back on the horse, or you take up running for it, or something like that. There's no absolute answers in this, but the basic principles are only breathe as much as you need for the level of activity. And if you feel like you're heavy breathing, just slow down and back off for a bit, guys, please.
Yeah. Yes, Ed.
Especially on the phone. It never goes down well on the phone. I don't know why, but no.
Yeah, low, slow, through the nose, and just little tiny pauses after you breathe out, because that's your reset button. Your clients will thank you.
So, Jen, I'm going to ask you a question now. Obviously, your life has changed dramatically. So there must have been people that you met through your life who have inspired you. So I'm going to play a short VT, and I want to find out a bit about your inspiration, or who inspired you. So let me just play this quick video, and then we'll ask you who's your inspiration. Funky. Who inspires you?
Inspiration is kind of not the right word. I've had some brilliant teachers. I tend to be my own inspirational source on the basis that nobody listens to me, so I have to go out and make it work myself. I want to invent, because back when I was a piano teacher, I won an Inventors Award for a series of books and board game and stuff that I created for my music students because no one else was doing it. And that's why I do what I do now, because nobody else is doing it. So it's me.
Yeah.
One of my exhibit features was, I don't know, I still have changed a lot about what he taught me, but the Buteyko breathing I learned from Sasha Stalmatsky, who worked alongside Professor Buteyko in Russia, and he brought it to the West. And I was very lucky to work with him in London. And he was really supportive of me, hugely supportive. Because I was already a teacher and I had other skills to bring to it, he did give me some great support and some decades of skills that nobody else on the planet at the time had that could speak English. It was, you know, it's fantastic. And then because he didn't particularly like the NHS, bless him, he put me in front of the NHS to help them. So that's back in the early 20s. That worked really well. At the other end of things, I guess my husband is also an inspiration, and my daughter very much, because I'm a photographer and an artist, and I write, and I, you know, I just nature is is a source of information. I volunteer. You guys both know this, but I volunteer at a big cat sanctuary every week. So I get to be up close and personal to jaguar and cuddle snow leopards, and it's just,
that's pretty cool.
It is just amazing. And wanting the world to be better so we can reclaim nature and regrow forest and make the world a better place. Those animals inspire me to be a better human being so I can do more and live longer so I can do more. That makes a huge difference to me. Absolutely massive.
I've got a question that come in from Zaf. It says, can you reduce high blood pressure?
Yes, absolutely. It is one of there's a lot of clinically proven things. Asthma's kind of obvious because, you know, bad breathing closes airways down. But bad breathing also can restrict the blood vessels. And if you slow the breathing down, they both open back up again because it's hyperventilation, the CO2 level going down. That's what brings that in closer. So yes, absolutely it does that. And it is clinically proven to do that. It does wonders. There are hundreds of conditions that have evidence that better breathing is medically worth doing.
Fantastic. And a question for you now. In terms of sort of your business, do you do like a free initial consultation? How does it work? And how, if someone was to get referred to you, what's the process and what happens?
Okay, you will have just seen us. I already had it in the box to send to you. Book a free breathing assessment, guys. Step one, we can do a Zoom call. I can take you through the uber basics, see what you're doing, and give you some experiences of how to change what you're doing from where you begin. Because it's all very well me saying, you should breathe like this, but it depends on where you start, whether that's practical or not. Small changes can be done. So breathing assessment is probably the simplest beginning. But equally, I run masterclasses for health professionals. And I don't know, if somebody works with me, once they decide, they go, yes, this is what I need and I'm ready to go, we simply book several sessions within the first week. So you get loads of support. You get a huge resource pack, Dropbox full of videos and guided visualization and ebooks. And because over the years, I found how everybody's unique and you need to be able to adapt this for you. It's not just about copy me and hope. It doesn't work that way.
Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe we should have a chat with Sharon. Get that breath.
Okay. Now, the interesting thing is, Sharon, you're probably actually breathing too fast and a little too shallow. If you were to take a breath with a hand on your belly and a hand on your upper chest, the chances are, if I say take a deep breath to 90% of people, watching this, it'll be, which is actually a shallow breath, people. It's up here. It's not here. And if you breathe too fast, the body thinks that's normal. So we need to adapt and adjust. Asthma, I always felt like there was not enough air and I would breathe harder and heavier. It's the opposite of what you need. But it takes support to get help with that. And that's It's what I'm passionate about. It's so obvious when you experience it, isn't it, Ed? It just changes things on the spot.
That's pure logic.
Yeah.
There's no other word for it. It's medicine. It's the free medicine, isn't it? It's just like,
you can heal yourself to a large degree. It's good biomechanics. It is good sound science. There is nothing wrong with this stuff. It's not fluffy. It's not weird, but it's dead practical. And because I teach it the way I do, it's easier than most people do. And a lot of people sort of say they do yoga, they do meditation, or they struggle with that. But how do you walk up a flight of stairs? How do you pick up your kids? How do you do the daily tasks? This is about breathing well for every breath you take for the rest of your life. And it will probably be a longer life as a result.
That's fantastic. Just running your details at the bottom here. So the best way to get in touch with you if people want to is email. Is that the best way, or LinkedIn, or how do you like to be contacted?
The website, LinkedIn is great. Phones tend to stay off because if I'm working with clients, I don't get disturbed. Yep, I did send you a link to the booking thing in our private.
Yes, probably the best thing on that, Jen, is to pop that down. I'll tag you in on LinkedIn.
And I'll add that there. Okay.
Yeah, in the comments below. But it's been great. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot, and it's relaxed me quite a lot today. So it's just it's been fantastic. And thank you so much for coming in today. And let's say if anyone's watching and needs to get hold of Jen, you've got the details down below. And just once again, thank you for sharing your expertise. And there are options out there for people who are struggling. That's
give it a go. It works. It's fantastic stuff. Thank you, Jen.
Brilliant.
Always a delight. Thank you so much for
thank you so much. All right. See you again soon. Bye.
Cheerio. Oh, such wise words. Yeah. Two fantastic people, totally different, but so there you go. That's saying exactly right. Hugely valuable information, life-changing information. So, Andrew, it got me to thinking, you see, that we're surrounded by these heroes who we like to celebrate, etc. And I was just wondering, you must meet several hundred people in a week, and who is your hero of the week?
Right, it's quite simple and straightforward this week. And my hero of the week this week is Phil Reed from Waste Not Want Not. It's a local charity based in Chippenham, and he has had to dig deep and persevere as his buildings sort of caved in. He's without a roof. He's trying to keep his business going, and he's showing a lot of resilience and grit in keeping that charity running. And he's for people that are either homeless, they're looking for fresh starts in life. They literally come from sort of shelters and all sorts of places, and that people with absolutely nothing. And he's doing his best and darnest to keep that charity going to support these people through these tough building times that he's got going on. So he's definitely my hero of the week for putting up with all of that and just keeping his charity running to the best it can at the present time. So
it's fantastic. Right? It's Waste Not Want Not, and it's based in Chippenham, isn't it?
That's correct. And always looking for volunteers and donations and all sorts of things. So check him out on the internet.
The other thing I was going to ask you, Andrew, just who does the videos? Because we've got these fantastic videos that play all day long on here. And just who makes them? Who
we
does
find
it?
out?
Yeah. Who? Do you know, with our videos, it's like the high octane videos. We get Jen in, and then they're really nice and relaxed. You see?
Yes.
You see how the breathing actually changed the video? It's quite amazing.
Well, let's move it up a notch a bit, Ed, because there's a question I want to ask you, and it's about your words of wisdom for this week.
My words of wisdom. Right, my words of wisdom this week. Firstly, listen to what Jen Tiller just said, because there's some words of wisdom for you. And on the same sort of change the world, make the world a better place to live in. There's a post this morning that I read by one of our club members called Helen Arney. So thank you, Helen, from HJA Solutions. And I'm going to read it to you because it's a really good post. And it goes like this. You can't see the picture, but there was a Kenyan runner called Abel Mutai. He's just a few feet away from the finish line, but he became confused. He was in first place with the signage. He didn't know what to do. So he stopped, thinking he'd completed the race. The guy in second place behind him, the Spanish runner called Ivan Fernandez, realising what had happened, started shouting at the Kenyan to continue running. Muti didn't know Spanish and didn't understand, and realising what was taking place, Fernandez pushed him to victory. A journalist afterwards asked Ivan, "Why did you do that?" And Ivan replied, "Well, my dream is that someday we can have the kind of community we're like in life where we push and help each other to win." The journalist insisted and said, "But why did you let the Kenyan win?" And Ivan replied, "I didn't let him win. He was going to win. The race was his." The journalist insisted and again asked, "But you could have won." Ivan looked at him and replied, "But what would be the merit in my victory? What would be the honour in that medal? What would my mother think of that?" And I just think if we were surrounded by people like Fernandez, yeah, what a wonderful world it would be.
A better place
to succeed. Yeah,
absolutely.
Not always trying to win. It's a great life.
Yeah, brilliant. Wise words there.
Words of wisdom. Look after the people around you. Helen Arney, great post. Look it up. LinkedIn.
Yeah, fantastic. Just want to give a shout out to Wojciech. Hi, Wojciech. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Wojciech.
Good to see you in action too, Wojciech.
Oh, he's always in action, Wojciech.
Yeah. One from Zaf. Hi, Zaf.
Hi, Zaf. Yes,
Zaf,
we are your hero.
Too.
Yes, you're my hero, Zaf. And Barry Hunt was on, saying great advice. So good to see you, Barry, as well, from Chris Boothman.
Fantastic. It's been a great show today. We've had loads of people commenting, liking, and if you want to come in and get involved, come and check us out at the Cobra Club. We're always looking for people to come on the show and get involved in different ways of all business-related things, really. So I think we're approaching sort of time, Ed. So I think it's time that we should start to go through the weekly events.
Well, I think we should go through the weekly events. Let everybody out there in the world of LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube let them know what's happening in the wonderful world of Cobra Club.
Yes. Okay. All right. So here we go.
Well, Monday morning we're going to kick off every Monday at 9 till 10 for the best digital networking event of the week. Come and fit your diary full of appointments with me.
Fantastic. Then we move over to Monday lunchtime, 12 o'clock, pure networking with Elnet Parsons.
Then we can pop over to Christie's Virtual Coffee Club for a lovely cup of coffee, 3 till 4 o'clock on Monday.
Fantastic. Well done, Christy. Then the man himself, Mr. Zafran Khan, all the way up from Birmingham. Every Monday evening, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday Mayhem.
Oh, and then on a Tuesday morning we have Quest West, 10:30 to 11:30 with the inspirational Judith West.
Fantastic. Lovely Judith. Then we have the incredible, tantalising Kayla, the fairy godmother herself, Mrs. Fairy Godmother herself, every Tuesday at midday from Taylor.
Oh, and then we're a brand new networking event, Cobra Office with Victoria, every Tuesday between 1:30 and 2:30. Come and get involved with Victoria Woods. Is it on Chole?
Fantastic. Then all the way down to the south coast, incredible Sally Marshall, Conversations, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Shout for the Spitfire. And then we've got we haven't anymore, so it's now on a Monday, but every Monday between 4 and 5, we have Hannah Matarazzo with the Cobra Creative.
Fantastic. Then we have the Hive Mastermind with the #1 best-selling Amazon author, Beverly Lockett. That's every Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m.
And then you can climb Mount Snow. Oh, it's chilly up there. 4 till 5:30 on a Wednesday with the wonderful Rhiannon East Snow Summit.
Fantastic. Then we have one of the main events, Meeting Talents, highly recommended by Wojciech, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come along, get involved.
Very slick. And then there's Jonathan Afoy running Cobra Connect on a Thursday morning, 10 till 11:30.
Then we have the Cobra Live link up with Mr. Barry Hunt every Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. He calls it the main event. And it's a brilliant event.
Great event. Then a new event again with Chris Mason. Cobra Strike every Thursday, 4 till 5 o'clock at the 300 Club. Top score you can get there. Great.
Fantastic. Then down to the south coast with the incredible Louise Monblatt. First Thing Friday is First Thing Friday, every Friday morning, 8 a.m.
And then once you've been there, for you fish and chips on the beach, you can go and join Shane Yates at the Full Welsh Breakfast at 9:30 to 11 o'clock over in Wales.
And then we have Mr. James Richmond, Cobra Avalon, Somerset Plowman's Lunch every Friday, 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Plenty going on.
Plenty going on, and then you can have a wind down Friday. This is the event on a Friday, 4 till 5:30 up in Scotland. Okay, you can have a super time with the Scots. See you there.
Fantastic.
Alan
So
Cohen.
how do you get involved, Ed?
How do you get involved? Well, if you go to www.thecobraclub.co.uk, you can find out all about all of our events. You can book a virtual tour and have a free virtual tour. You can even come along to one of our meetings for free if you'd like to. Come and experience the Cobra Club. If you'd like to find out more about the Property Club, there's if you go to www.thecobraclub.co.uk, you can click on the Property Connect page and find out more about the Property Connect show as well.
Fantastic. And we're starting up niches all the time. So if you want to start up a niche event, come and have a chat with us.
Email Andrew.
That's correct. Andrew at thecobraclub.co.uk.
Or email Ed. .co.uk. That's www.thecobraclub.co.uk, I reckon.
Fantastic. Thank you. Say hi quick to Alan. Good to see you, Alan. Always a pleasure. Let's get Alan on the show soon. I think it's
about time he came to the show.
Yeah, I think we'll get Alan.
We could text him. We could text him about it.
And I think we should get Wojciech on as well.
I think Wojciech would do. I think Wojciech and Nick Nick Chip we should get in. I think they should, and Rianne actually. We haven't had her on for a while.
Yeah, let's get them all in. Let's line them up.
Make it happen.
Fantastic. Okay, Ed, I think we are right at the end of the show. So I think there's only two things left to play. So I think from us, it's adios. And we'll see you next week, guys. It's going to be another great show. Next week, we have got Shane Yates. We've got Meenal Chowan and Harry Dokia. So a fantastic week lined up next week. So we'll see you all again 10:30 next Wednesday, live on the internet. We'll see you there.
Now you're watching me, you're all eyes on me, 'cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy, and we be loving the good life, good life.
I think this dream now just hit me. Why don't you just go there with me? Surfing the skies and splash in the clouds, dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. Two souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or soak in the sea. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you approach. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the keys. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights in the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comet to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life, we do what we want.